Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 168 of Tactical Crouch and the inaugural Crouchies. It is indeed the show we didn't tell you was going to happen, but it is. I mean, you knew the show was going to happen today, but you didn't know that it was going to be the Crouchies because we didn't totally know it was going to be the Crouchies.
Yeah, because we didn't know it was going to be the Crouchies.
But
so how are we supposed to tell you?
For those of you who don't, first time here, this is Tactical Crouch. We're a competitive Overwatch podcast. I'm Kickedtripod, Yiska, Volamel, both here. Yiska looking good with his
Thank you.
button down, open up, showing off the maroon shirt.
Maroon.
It looks maroonish.
I have,
to me.
dude, I have like 3 words for colors, and this man just said maroon. He looks at everything.
I feel like maroon is not that obscure of a color. It's like
red.
It's if you say name one other shade of red besides red, you say maroon.
Bright red.
Besides like a
Dark red.
besides like a different version
Bordeaux.
of red. No one says Bordeaux. You bored dummy. Jeez. Anyways, you're looking nice. But today is all about the Crouchies. What that is a pre-season award show where we go through some various categories going into the 2021 season. Some of these are categories for performances in the off season. Some of these are pre-giving and preemptive awards for what we think are going to happen during the season itself. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then, of course, next week, we are going to be getting into our power rankings. And how we're going to be doing power rankings this year is that we're going to be taking it by both divisions. So the North America division, the Asia division, or whatever is called East and West division. Sorry. And
I think it's East and West, but you get the point.
Everybody,
you get it.
It's NA and Asia.
Come on.
Anyways, we're going to be taking those, breaking them apart separately. I believe we're doing North America first. I believe we're doing East second. So bear that in mind. West second. What? Anyways,
We'll
we're
figure it
doing
out.
Asia
Just
second,
show up next week.
starting next week. If you want to be included, one of the cool things is that we're actually going to compare some of our rankings to our community. And if you want to be a part of that, I believe we've got a tool set up in discord.me/tacticalcrouch where you can fill out your power rankings and it will kind of look and compare to ours.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun. Who says Merlot? Burgundy. Burgundy is a good one. Boo Manfu. Moonlight Red is not a good one. Sangria. Now Boo Manfu is just listing off alcohol.
Yeah. Yep.
So I know how your Wednesday is going.
Well, hopefully.
Anyways, Scarlet probably. Anyways, it's going to be a fun show today. We also, Joe, so we've got anime night coming up, right?
We do. I completely spaced out last week, but I've left a note so I can at least announce that the show that we're going to be watching this week is called Bung-Ho Stray Dogs, as voted by the community. And is recommended by a friend of the show, Kenobi. He seemed to have liked it, so I put that in the list, and it got quite a few votes. And we're going to be watching episodes 1 through 4. Due Friday. Get your homework in. If not, you're getting zeros. You know the drill. And you know, if we have the want or need for it, we can watch episode 5 together. And discuss everything Bung-Ho Stray Dogs related, anime, nerd culture, all that good stuff. Yeah. Friday's a good show, and I will not be late. I will not double book and forget. And yeah. So
I hope it's a little bit more exciting in the first couple of episodes than Violet ever.
You know, I heard
more
good
like
things.
ever snoring. Am I right?
2 times speed, and like I was still bored.
I know next to nothing about it.
Hi, so das.
Nice.
Yes.
Means yes, that's right.
What was it worth the $3,000 you've paid for that for?
That wasn't $3,000.
EA. Takai.
I only know perverted words, so we don't want to start this.
We know.
You're the new pervy sage.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways,
Back I go.
let's. So we're gonna be watching. We're gonna be watching that. That's gonna be fun. Well, we're gonna play some games after. The last time, I have to admit, I fell asleep.
I mean,
As we were preparing.
show.
So we were waiting. We ended up waiting for Joe, didn't we? For like an hour.
I had booked an interview.
So we waited, and I was already exhausted. I ended up falling asleep. But this time we're actually going to discuss the show and then play some games. And the good news is that I can pretty much stream the game part of it now, so my computer can handle it.
There we go.
I won't be able to go that long. I have an interview set up at some point late, pretty late. I don't think we will go that long, so it shouldn't.
We
Play
just
a
need to
few
get a
games
couple
and
rounds
call it a
of
day.
Jackbox in. It's been a while.
Right.
True.
Yeah, so that's going to be happening. By the way, big thank you to our patron producers, Refine Bean, Ferdino, Battle Crab, Lolshin, Rex Zane, Sir Girthalot, Pork Chop Sammy, Kasha67, Shar, Nathan Your Misery, Fabled Steven, Roger B, Chris R34444, Bronzebot, Boohow, Hotel Bravo 11, brand new patron producer. Thank you for supporting the show. We love you all. If you're like, hey, I like the show, I want to support it, go to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch. Sign up for as little as $1 a month, all the way up to $25 a month, depending on how much you like the show. We've got some cool perks for you along the way. You could also subscribe right here at twitch.tv/Kickedtripod, just like Fredino and Adriac have already during this show. You can do so, and you'll see your name circulate on the subs list thing in during the episode that you sub. So that's kind of really cool. Otherwise, we also have a tip button down below. If you just want to do a one-time little tip deal, you can totally do that as well. We had a couple people ask if they could just do that rather than committing to something recurring, and that makes total sense. Whoo! All right. I'm not going to lie.
Cool.
I know next week are power rankings, but can we just talk about how good our power rankings are? And every time someone's like, it's just random, it's astrology, nobody knows what they're talking about, I laugh. Because we are so good at it. We're doing astronomy while everybody else is doing astrology.
Great. Some people are doing it for content.
We're
Some
doing
people
science while
try to
everyone
cook
else
the
equates
books.
it to witchcraft.
Yep.
Better dice rollers. Fog.
We do be gambling.
So to be fair, we get around into power ranking time, and it's power rankings are so much fun to me because they're largely arbitrary. They don't dictate how well you actually know the game. But at the same time, when you get them right, there's nothing more satisfying, and it's oh man, what's the word? Where you're doubting yourself, and then you get a new piece of information that's like, no, you're okay. Reassuring. There's nothing more reassuring than getting your power rankings right. And we do it more consistently and better than just about anybody else in the scene. So, hey, you're welcome. You're welcome.
There we go.
We're like,
to be fair,
no. To be
in
fair.
this discussion, right? Like, scrimbucks are pretty good. It's also, yes, like the inductive, like how good is that roster based on the empirical evidence that we've seen of each individual player. I think a lot of people actually underestimating the OTC, the organizational throw coefficient, where the the strength of some organizations to completely like mismanage rosters is such a big multiplier that it basically weighs as much as scrimbucks, right?
Yeah.
So, and of course there's a ton of other factors, like we had travel, that was a big one. If you know how the teams are set up with their personal setups, if you know the visa situation, that might be something that is very useful towards your power rankings and what the condition will be the team will be playing in, what kind of ping ranges will be expected at the start of the season. There's just a lot of factors that you can factor in. And yes, Scrimbox is not that amazing on its surface, but eventually patterns emerge, and this won't help you in preseason power rankings too much. But over the season, you will see, okay, this team, like for instance, like Atlanta and Houston did very well in scrims last season. Then you do know that it doesn't necessarily translate to the live matches. So you take that into account. You know that Shock sometimes completely underperforms in scrims, then changes the strategy on a dime and just like breaks everyone. That's the pattern that you can observe and value into your scrim box. So they aren't bad. They actually aren't bad as indicators of performance. And there is some skeptical part. I think the important thing to understand about Scrimbox is the following. Yes, you hear when Scrimbox is BS, right? Like we know the Zephyr stories, we know like the Houston stories, we know like the tweets of coaches saying we didn't lose a scrim before like playing Boston Uprising, and then when Dream treated that. That's all legitimate, right? And I lost my train of thought. Very nice.
Good one. Thanks.
I mean, don't you have a pretty legendary comment when it comes to Scrimbox where everybody equals 100%, like 90% of the time? Like, yeah, everybody's winning scrims. Come on.
For sure, you got to value in like scrim math as well. But yeah, like it's not a terrible metric. And oh yeah, that's what was my point. You guys only hear when the anomalies happen. Like, I think people should be more aware of where they don't hear about the anomalies. We're like aware of like 4 to 5 like Scrimbox anomaly stories per season.
Sure.
We have 20 teams.
Yeah.
The rest apparently perform pretty regularly. Therefore, how terrible can it really be, right? So yeah, that's like just like by what you don't hear, you should be able to sort of tell the full story and just have a better idea where things are going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I was doing was just bragging a little bit about how good we are at scrim, or not Scrimbox power rankings.
I mean, mine didn't count last season, like
because mine were better than yours.
They weren't.
They were.
I was the best known analyst.
I don't get included in the analyst rankings for these things, which is also a travesty, by the way. Start including me in the analyst things. Just because I'm an idiot doesn't mean I'm dumb.
Yeah. Sit on that a little bit. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Basically what I do is I see yours and Joe's ahead of time, combine the two, and then beat you both. Like, oh, I like Joe's take here.
Yeah.
I like Yiska's take here.
Combine the two.
Put them together. You got a winning formula.
Yeah. There you go.
Also, you usually don't have like something like with me with Chengdu and Joe with Paris.
It's true. It's true.
Like heavy Anta ratings.
I check the emotions at the door, except for Toronto Defiant, which they can, sit down in 20, no matter what. The old number 13 coming in at the Toronto Defiant. The funny thing is that some of these preliminary power rankings have them very close to the bottom. So I'm like, yes, I'm not even getting flamed that much for doing that.
That's some of my favorite part of this preseason. Like, there's a lot of people sharing like power rankings, and they're wildly different. Yeah. Like really, really heavily different, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
There's been a couple surprises, I think, that then people were expecting, but we probably shouldn't talk about that. Let's talk about the Crouchies. Let's talk about the Crouchies.
Do you have some awards?
Let's give out. So the 2021 Crouchies is all about celebrating, whatever the you want. Honestly, we want to give out some awards and trophies. Talk about some interesting things before we get into the preseason, get into the power rankings, and the Crouchies are our way to do that. We've got a variety of categories they want to hand out awards to, varying from very important and having a ton of weight to being just the dumbest award that you've ever heard in your life. It will all be covered here. Don't you worry. Let's start out with an easy one, shall we?
Let's go.
The
Making
most
myself a little bit of room to be mad at Joe. Go on.
Interesting. Already picking fights. All right. Here we go. Sounds like Yiska. Most improved team from 2020 to 2021. Most improved team from 2020 to 2021.
What you want to say, Joe?
I think there's only one correct answer, and it doesn't include anything but pineapple on pizza.
What?
Exactly.
Already mad. I'm already mad because there's at least 3 correct answers, and I think the one that you're thinking of is the least correct.
I think so too.
But we'll see.
Who is it?
We'll see. Say the name.
So, for my money, in terms of not only the team but the organization, and I know that's adding a little bit of juice, a little bit extra credit, I think the Washington Justice is easily the most improved.
Oof. I thought you were going to say the fuel.
No, I mean, come on. This is coming from the guy who said they wouldn't even be top 5. Again, I stand by my take. I said, remind me when. Thank you. I'll take my yes coin at the door, please.
Right. Now,
Achilles, I will ban you if you say Toronto. I'm not even joking.
No, Toronto.
You will get banned.
Nowhere close.
No, the thing is, I think there's some semantics in there.
Okay.
Because, like 2020 to 2021, like some nerd will be sitting in the comments going like, well, they actually made it quite far in the playoffs. Thank you very much. Like, how much could they have improved? Like from top 3 and 8, Like, no, they were 19th, bro. 19th in the regular season standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were not supposed to be in playoffs, but because of COVID, everybody got a chance to be in playoffs, and that opened them up for another stage 4-esque run.
Yep.
Now we're looking at stage 4 all season, baby.
Yep.
Hard to argue.
Now, yes, they will basically like turn around the standings, I think. Like they will actually like go the other side. Now, I have another name, Joe, that could be considered.
What team made?
I actually have 2 other names that we might.
Yeah,
consider.
somehow I knew you were going to go.
Why don't you just say half the league, Yiska? Really hedge your bets. Make it really entertaining.
Okay, first off, there's a team that was worse than the Washington Justice in 2020.
Sure, did they improve?
And they were much worse than the Washington Justice in 2020. And I do think they have improved.
As much?
That's the Boston Uprising. Not as much, no.
All right, then,
probably
thank
not.
You. Not
but
as much.
They also were
most improved,
worse.
though. You know what I'm saying?
They were worse than.
Agreed.
2
Justice. So
and
they
19.
start from a lower spot, right? They're not getting there, right? Once again, this is for the little troll.
I'm glad you're.
in the comments.
I'm glad you're handing out second place trophies. While we're handing out first place, crowning champions, giving the Crouchies, you can hand out the runners up. That's fine.
Right? Yeah. No. Like my first choice would be Justice.
All right.
I think
we're all in agreement.
I think there are other, like, for instance, Houston could be a team that we consider in there.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think they could potentially peak pretty high. I will say, like, I think a lot of people had like the gut feeling when you say this. Like, I think even the Twitter comments were a lot like Dallas. On paper, that's probably not that bad. Like that team is obviously very much improved.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Exy, Sparkle, Fearless, Hanbin, Fielder,
I think they're
Rappel,
more improved than
Jexa.
Boston. I'll tell you that.
Those are some big signings, and last year you would have to twist my arm to find a lot of negative things to say about any of those players individually. XZ was a Rookie of the Year candidate. Sparkle, another one. Fearless, one of the best tanks in the game. Hanbin, I think, was an argument for one of the best, if not the best, off tank in the game. I wasn't so high on Fielder, but a lot of people loved Fielder. Repel and Jexa from the Houston Outlaws, which was one of the only good parts of the Outlaws in the previous season. Like, I'm sorry, but as much as I like on paper, this should be a bomb ass team that should on paper, based on everything we've said about this team, should make it a top 3 team NA. It should.
Will it?
I don't think it's going to. And that's the thing that freaking sucks. Because I'm the same thing. I was like, I was going to come in here because I knew that Justice feels like the really easy one. You take a 19th place team, whereas the Dallas Fuel, when you look at it, you remember them as a lot worse than 9 and 12.
Yeah.
I really do. I remember them.
The start of the season was pretty competitive. I mean, you look at like week 1 last season, like they were taking shock pretty close. Like I remember some very competitive games early on last season. So not a terrible team. They just became terrible.
So yeah. And so like, and there might be just something in the Fuel water that just means that there's never going to be a winning team out of there. But at the same time, on paper, you can't look at any single one of these new additions. It's weird when Repel and Jexa, specifically like Repel, are like the most questionable upgrades on the roster for me.
Yeah, I think like also people need to consider like Fielder is now offline, was of course playing online famously. That's an expected upgrade. You also have to say, like, yes, I see a lot of people ranking them based on Scrimbuck's input pretty low. I don't think that necessarily for that team in particular has to say much just yet.
Not yet.
But I also don't see them being super consistent over the season. But much like Paris, I think they have like
they can peak,
cracked peak performance potential.
100%.
Right?
If they when they land, they're going to land really hard. Like
I do want to be contrarian then though and say that the Dallas Fuel are going to overcome that this year, and they are actually going to be the most improved.
Hopefully.
And
really?
Yep. I'm going to be a little contrarian here. I know, I get it. It's really weird because people are going to go, you know, the Justice are going to go from 19th to like 5th, let's say 6th or even higher. And you're like, they went up 14. They're the most improved. Whereas when you have a team that's 13th, and they go up into that same, into that same echelon, like that, I don't know. I feel like they could surprise us, be a top 3 team NA, and then, you know, anything's possible in the playoffs. They go deep in the playoffs, and you've got a most improved team. So I get like, and again, if I go first, I say Washington Justice, but if I go second, I say Dallas Fuel.
Gotta stir the pot a little bit for sure.
And also, let me just quickly address like a message in chat by Max. If you think about Paris, yes, they were a top 5 team in NA. I think 4 pretty handily, right?
Yep.
Were they 3rd? Am I dumb? But the point being, like, they peaked in one meta, in which they could easily or not easily, but like one stage. That's where I see that teams peak. But they also lost to teams like, if I recall correctly,
Florida.
like the Rain ones, Florida. They had like a lot of inconsistencies, especially in the start of the season. And I see that pattern almost repeating throughout this season. And also like something that was pointed out in the interview I did with Tasmo, rang true at least during Nexus, where they started slow and then like could improve the next week. Now I think a team like this will be fundamentally at the mercy of their schedule in terms of like, do you have to play first week or do you get a week off? And I don't have it on in my mind. But a team like Dallas having the first week off, understanding where the meta is going for the next 3 weeks, is a huge boon towards them qualifying for a tournament and going to a Y. So that will be interesting. There's a little bit of like, what kind of meta is it? Stars align. Do you get to skip the first week and whatnot? And then like this team can once again win a stage at that core. So like, yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I think you touch on a lot of important notes with Dallas regarding some of the issues that they might have. But yeah, it's you can't ignore the improvements that they have made. I guess it's just the semantic of the most. But we will have to see. They're a very interesting team. I think this feels more like a play for the future for me, where they have a great core to work with and can improve coming into 2022, and that's where I expect them to really kind of take off.
Right. Okay. Next one.
Next one.
We'll have some spice down the line. We'll see.
Don't worry, we'll get there.
All right. Oh man, I feel kind of bad about this one.
No, make Joe answer this first.
Okay. All right, the next category
that.
is the Bench Blanket Award. That is the player with the least playtime or the most bench time in the Overwatch League. Yosef.
Yes. Well, there's this player, just got announced pretty recently, coming off of a near 3-year retirement. His name's NVM, Nevermore. Main tank for the Los Angeles Valiant. Don't suspect that he'll be seeing any playtime. So he's my vote for the bench blanket.
He's taking the easy one. See, boys, like the way this worked in Joe's mind is like he knows nobody personally that could lash back at him. There's nobody that could heckle him over this. He has never had an NGA threat about like a comment he's made. You will feel the hurt. But also, like, even the Chinese community is probably on your side on this. What, like, this was the boring pick. I think,
but it's the right pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, correct. It is, and it is also
C.
my like first pick. But
all right,
it isn't that interesting. That now I'm more interested.
We're not here for interesting.
Do you have a?
We're here for winning.
These people are just like here, like we're about to put on like white coats and do science in this pod, dude. Like,
you're lucky I didn't pick Sominsu. It was real close.
Wait, who did you wait? Joe, who did you pick?
Okay, now I'm mad.
I picked NVM. Sominsu ain't playing. He ain't playing. Period. Done. Not happening. If you want that to be my answer, I'll move it. Sominsu's not playing. Who plays? Who does Sominsu take the position of? Explain to me.
10 million metas that he could play Zarya in or whatever.
Oh yes, because he'll be a better Zarya than Bernard.
Yeah, bro.
He'll be a bet. Okay. Would you like to Lord bet that? Would you like to Lord bet me?
Bro, you can't be serious on this.
Let's go, Lord bet.
You have 2 starting flex tanks. You have 4 DPS. Well, not 4 DPS. You have 3 DPS that are leagues better than Sominsu. Sominsu's not playing. You want to agree. Just agree.
No, I don't.
Yes. Okay, so is he going to play over Shy?
I mean, maybe on some picks.
Okay.
Maybe like Reaper.
I want what you're smoking.
Why not on Reaper?
Sure. Maybe he plays that one meta on Reaper. He plays in the summer. They do okay. And then he goes immediately back to the bench.
That I have it backed up, my dude.
All right. Who else do you have on your bench?
Okay. So let's assume that double off tank meta is pretty rare.
Let's assume, yeah.
Right.
I think the safe assumption.
Now, yes, the tank pool is pretty wide. The problem is, what if you're a decent off tank, but you're behind like the best off tank ever in Overwatch League? I'm talking Rhea.
Sure.
I don't think, like, unless Rhea secretly learned a second role, or Fury just like tilts off the planet and becomes like whatever, like, I don't think we're going to see a lot of Rhea this season.
Does it concern you that the Fury with the shock and Poco, obviously kind of trading playtime, does that worry you at all, or is that just more of a shock like play style thing?
I mean, that makes maybe. But I have another boy. I have another
Okay.
one. I have another one.
Here.
You know, like same scenario, right?
Same role.
Now, no, not same row. Not same row. I mean, same category.
I don't like
role.
any of these answers so far, by the way.
I mean, you would. So, who did you vote as your role star, tank role star? And I think you wanted to say MVP. I'm not sure if you said MVP.
What season?
Last.
Oh, I don't even remember, to be honest.
A boy that played every main tank under the sun last season.
I'm gonna out myself.
One of the best teams in the Overwatch League.
Bro, I just say it. I don't remember.
So Sado is sitting ahead of Beast. You're telling me that is less likely that Beast never sees play or doesn't see much play time in comparison to Sum and Su?
That's another. I mean, come on, Sum Su's a little spicy. Everybody loves Sum Su. You gotta poke the bear a little bit on that one. That one's for the.
There you go. We found it. We found it. It's
I'm the imposter. You got me. Vote me out. That's fine.
Yeah. Nah, like nothing against him. I think like that's another unfortunate position. I hope I'm wrong, because I think like that's a career that would need a pop-off season this season.
Yeah.
But it's unlikely to get it in a majority Korean team, right? So
yeah, that's why you need to
with Sado, right? Like, yeah, that's.
I was so confused on where you were leading me with that. I'm like,
didn't you have Sado as MVP?
I don't remember. It's last year. It feels like March still.
So like you guys call me like esports grandpa, and this guy basically has like
I don't exist. I've been dead for a couple of years in their minds.
Hey, Joe is Alzheimer's.
I'm 6 feet
like
under, honestly. I'm in a home.
I have a genuine question. How much playtime do you think Checkmate's gonna get on Mayhem?
That's an interesting one. That like him and Skewed both popped up for me and were like, I suspect these are project players that like will see playtime because they're like gamble rookies where like you want to actually like do something with them. It seems like the coaching staff actually wants to like they've been picked up for a reason, so I am interested. I think they are a good shout for like most bench though. Like they might just not see play.
So I
at
have
all.
One other question, and this is more just I'm learning at this point. But what about Skewed behind Shu and Moth?
Yeah, that's another one of those like project players, you know, double flex support type of like every so often. But yeah, again, probably won't see him all that much.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like with double support, flex support stuff, like there's still a chance. That's just a higher chance, right? Like if a meta can make your player more likely to play, like the same is true for like Twilight. Like Twilight is not a bad player, but it's Violet, dude. Like I think like those are in a special situation, and I'm not sure. I'm also not too familiar with Scoot, if I'm.
And honestly, me either. So like, but all I look is I see Shu and Moth, and I go, "Who
probably not getting playtime?
Who plays with that backline? Who like who do you add in who can play?" And you know, chat's bringing up awesome points because we have the smartest chat of all the Overwatch podcasts.
Right.
You're welcome. Patreon.com/tacticalcraft. And like, there's. I guess their brig, and that's something that I noticed too, is their brig is good. But I still just kind of go back to be like, we've had a long off season. We've seen a lot of these players practice these off heroes. Is this in case so-and-so is sick and needs an off day, we've got someone there, or visa issues or whatever else could come? Like a technicality why they aren't playing versus a meta slot, you know. I don't know. I don't know about that for Skewed.
You know, in actual fact, you probably would also need to know contract structures, because I know players where they wouldn't have ever played, likely, because you're just worse than the others. But because coaches wanted to fulfill that contract, like play X amount of hours or games or maps or whatever, they let the player play because the season was like they were in a set state so they were like set in their place for playoffs. Where that could come in, but I mean, I think there will be players with like less than an hour playtime next year for sure.
100%.
Maybe we're also really severely underestimating like the Eastern region and who might be singing out there because these rosters are just bigger and the chances of someone not playing there is probably high. I also feel that maybe I'm wrong about Beast. I feel like there's a surprise factor in there. We'll see. It just
unless he's like
to
super special, like if he's like the Jihoon of like Toronto, then maybe. If there's a meta where like Winston as an off tank can come into play, like that would be interesting. But again, kind of, it's a tough gamble to say like that's going to come in. But like there again, like Hero Pools has done crazier things. So we had, you know, the playoffs last year be played for majority of the time on double flex tanks. So it's, you know, I'll take anything into consideration. But yeah, the big rosters feel like it's really going to be hard to like actually get play time. And as much as like I poke the bear when it comes to Sominsu, I do think that he probably will not see a ton of playtime, like genuinely.
It would be a pretty cool story if it did anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I don't dislike the guy. There's nothing personal there, but like you look at the players that he's playing behind in both roles, that's a tough ask. And if he can actually get it done, that's fantastic. I'd love to see it. But if you're asking me like gun to head, money on the table, I don't think he sees a ton of playtime.
Yeah, the thing is like, what I'm also skeptical about is like language plays a role in that decision, right?
Sure.
And if you have a split roster and you don't necessarily can like expect perfect communication between them, you might mix and match differently other than considering like skill first. You might go like, this guy's actually not that much worse, but speaks the language that most of the team that's playing is speaking. So yeah, I think that there's a possibility there for Sominsu as well.
I mean, there's a possibility. It definitely narrows down the pool, but if they were to go fully Korean with that roster, it's still like a tough ask to be put over Architect or Bernard. Like maybe even Godsby, obviously dependent. It's probably closer to Godsby if anything, but
yeah,
it's tough.
It's
tough to see him get in.
You weren't talking about the Defiant being, or good things about the Defiant while I was gone, were you?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Fussel Kafer put me up to that in Twitch chat, and I just had to make sure. We had a good spot here. I'm gonna say skewed. I'm gonna go a little off meta here.
Okay.
I like Sominsu. I get it. Joe's was Sominsu. What was yours, Yiska? Again?
I had Beast and Rhea.
I had Beast as my primary one, so I had Beast and Skewed as mine. So you take Beast, I'll take Skewed. Why not? All right. We feel good?
Yep.
Ready to go on to category number 3, the Pinecone Award. So let's talk about the Pinecone Award. The Pinecone Award is for the best role player. So a player who doesn't play often, but when they do, they pop off. Pinecone, Pine, you get it.
Yep.
Kudos to the writers on that one. All right.
We were at the writers' show.
Two
talking to us.
We have 2 career writers on the show.
Yeah.
Pinecone is what they came up with.
We should really just hype each other up and just fake finding each other's stuff good. I think we could delude people into thinking we're actually doing dope stuff by just pretending, you know?
I think that works for a lot of people, actually. Some people's LinkedIns are so impressive, and then when I ask them more about the experience, and they're like, I'm a talent management specialist for a high-end technology SaaS company.
Mm.
And they're like,
Tell me more. How many more buzzwords can you?
Be like, oh, I make schedules for Zoom.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, by the way. I don't know why I targeted anybody with that maliciousness. I take it back. And let's talk about the Pinecone Award. Yiska, you got to go first, I believe,
Right.
because Joe went first last time. Who is your
sure.
Pinecone Award recipient for 2021?
So I'm sure there are many more names. People, okay, there's one guy that stood out to me. And in some ways, that was already true last season, but maybe not to the same degree. And in my mind, it's DM. So they still have like an absolutely cracked DPS line, right? Like there's not that many metas where you would not play like lip flatter type of DPS, right? But when there's like Widow metas or hard hit scan stuff, that's when you bring that in DM. And in many ways, he has almost taken like a Pine-esque position, even though like that particular, like only coming in for a particular map type of thing. I don't think we're going to see that specific pattern anymore. But like in many other ways, DM actually reminds me of Pine in a lot of ways. And I think he's going to continue doing that.
That's my vote. But in the sake of actually producing content, did have a second one prepared. I think it's Kai for the Atlanta Reign. Again, somebody very similar in terms of role. I don't suspect we'll play a ton. Well, not a ton. Let me rephrase that.
What?
There'll be metas where he probably is swapped out.
Do Pelican or Edison have hit scan heroes?
Edison, yeah.
Edison does.
Kind of.
Obviously, Kai will start. That's not what I'm saying. You can start in one hero pool and not the next month, right? Like it's a little, again, it's second place. I think it's DM hands down, but for a follow-up, I think Kai, when he plays, will be an all-star, but I don't think he'll play all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think that gets the spirit of the award here.
Okay. What do you think?
I mean, if he plays like 4 heroes and he actually plays those, and those also tend to be meta a lot, it's hard to name in that. I got a spicy one. I got a bit of a spicy one.
Okay.
I have 2 spicy ones, or I have 1 real one and 1 spicy one, but go ahead.
Okay, then you go first, John.
So my real one was Mirror from the LA Gladiators.
Right.
Behind Kevster and Birdring. I think it's, I even see the fact that chat is even onto it means that I'm just the most unoriginal piece of shit in the world. The second one, though, hear me out. Houston Outlaws.
Oh, no.
Jake. Junkrat, Jake Rat. You get Jake Rat, it'll feel great, it'll pop off, it'll dominate social media for weeks to come. We'll get it all. Woo! He popped off. And we'll never see him again. It'll be the only Junkrat meta we get all year. And rant. And rant.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Junkrat. If Junkrat
I don't think we are
back,
either, but
I would
that's
like
like the only time I think we'll see Jake.
Right.
I still
Right.
don't understand why. It sucks because I want him to come on the show one day, and I think he's really talented, and I think he's one of the best faces that we have for competitive Overwatch, and that I really genuinely mean that. But I don't think that he is somebody who's going to play if Junkrat is in meta. Maybe he's got a couple of other off ones that I've seen him. Yeah, but sure. Like that Jake Rat is like his pop-off hero, his comfort pick. That's where he is, and it sucks that that's like one of the heroes that is least likely to see meaningful playtime in the future.
To be fair, like the way Outlaws framed it is basically towards that award where it's like Jake would probably only come in for specialized cases, right?
Mhm.
Even though I do think like Pine was pretty limited in his hero pool, I would say. For
Effectively,
Jake,
yes. In
yeah.
terms of historic consensus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes, he did play Ana, but come on.
He played
like,
Ana. I remember some Pine Genji every once in a while, but
Yeah.
effectively it's Widowmaker, and that's
Yeah. You want to hear my spicy one?
You know, what's your spicy?
It
one?
doesn't even make that much sense, to be honest. Yveltal for Mercy.
I'm gonna be completely honest. If Yveltal isn't playing, I think Jundu's got some problems. Yes, he's two-way. I know he is, and I think that says a lot. But those who know my opinion on Illusion,
that's a cop out. Using 2 ways is. I think
there's somebody on Chengdu that gets a better vote. To be fair,
okay, interesting.
I think it's probably Jinmu.
Yeah, I can see that.
Jinmu's been somebody who just like comes in, kind of similar to Mirror, but somebody who I suspect
plays a ton, right?
He played a ton this season. I don't know if he's going to necessarily play a whole hell of a lot. I think he'll be very specialized on like a few heroes, like this, like the meta that we're kind of currently in, like going back to like week 1 of last year, kind of like the May McCree, Rhine, Flex Tank, esque compositionals choices. I don't know, and that might just be more of my bias when it comes to like Jimmy and Kaneki and what their effective hero pool is, but I don't know if you want Jinmu to come in, maybe to play the Doom if you want to play like Doom Zarya, but I think he could be a little spotty this year.
Also, just to make my point clear, it's only for Mercy, right? That's my point. Sure. Like someone comes in, like Pine Award, someone comes in for a particular like range of heroes or role, and then heavy performs, but otherwise doesn't start. And I feel like Yveltal for Mercy could be that. I think Jinmu is also a good call. It is like, once again, it's a lot of semantics because I feel like you kind of want him on Genji and you want him on Pharah.
Do you though? He's good. Can feed.
I mean, sure, but do you think he would play? Who would play ahead of him? Lee?
That's where it gets really dicey for me. I don't know enough about Kaneki. I think Jimmy's more the hit scan guy, but it seems like a balance between Kaneki, Jinmu, and then like if Lee's gonna get like really flexy, that's where I'm battling with the Chengdu DPS rotation.
Here's the reason why I don't think super is the right answer. Technically speaking, yes. Technically speaking, like that's the Chad you bring in for the Rhine meta, and like that's a pop-off player and whatnot. But I think super, generally speaking, is too flexible to fit into that definition.
If I'm gonna get cooked for Kai, I don't think super like is at the spirit of this at all.
Yeah, super also played like 8 hours of gameplay out of 24 last season, so it's a lot of game time to get the Pine Award, basically, right?
True.
But yeah,
I think Super's too much of a staple for the Shock to actually be like, oh my god, he's coming in, like the hidden, prodigy on the team. Like he's a staple of this team. I'd guess he's probably a vocal leader as well. So I suspect he's very much in the project for this team in the long run and has been in the past. Like I think he'll see starting time at least half the time.
Thing is, and I saw other names like Twilight. The thing is with Twilight, it's not a role thing for him. It's not the Pine thing where he's like better on that particular hero than anyone else on his team. That's not true. Twilight will play if you need double flex support.
No.
I don't think you necessarily play him to have a major upgrade on like Ana or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think that really qualifies towards that award.
Yeah.
Like, think about what Pine was and just how different he was to like a SBB Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the type of spirit of Erster, too flexible, I think.
Yep. You want somebody who's coming in
that's why
specifically
DM.
For like, DM feels like a not the only answer, but like a really strong one. If the meta supports it, I could see maybe like a soon Tracer, like maybe they have like a pocket composition for Boston. I'm reaching again here because I do feel so strongly about DM, but I think there are maybe control maps that if Tracer can be played, maybe they bring in soon, whereas otherwise they wouldn't have. It's maybe Soul, same kind of argument for Sabiolbi, but there again you have Prophet to play over, so it's not easy. Like, I think DM is like the right or the rightful inheritor of the Pinecone Award.
Right. It's interesting. I get it. You're wrong.
Do you have a name?
Jake.
Oh yeah, you said Jake, right? Yeah.
I said Mirror first as my real pick,
right,
and then Jake is my troll pick.
I think Mirror's good.
Mirror is not bad. Like coming in on Doom, that's definitely not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's lighten the conversation a little bit, and we're gonna do what we call the Backpack Matt Award. That is the most obscure stat that we are going to see in 2021. This is an interesting one. I'm interested to hear what you guys came up with. Joe, let's hear it.
So, with the meta that we're currently in, with Rhine and May being so prevalent, I think the most obscure and perhaps even deranged, maybe you have to be a little, dark-sided to kind of think of this. The number of Earth Shatters blocked by your own team will be the Backpack Stat Track Award.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. You went technical with it. I like it, but yeah, maybe.
How many
walls? I'm not sure if you could track that, but like some
crackhead out there is going to be tracking this. Trust me.
Yeah.
And that crackhead might be me.
Right.
That's funny. I like that one. All right, Yiska, what about you? What was the one that you came up with?
Okay, so here's my interpretation of reality, right?
Here we go.
In Overwatch League,
to the TED Talk.
We sometimes have like stats comparisons of like this Zenyatta against this Zenyatta. Well, one of the Zenyatas is playing into double shield and the other isn't. And there's number big and here's number small. Therefore, this guy good. Therefore, this guy bad. This is a terrible way to present stats, by the way. So, in essence, I felt like no, but it is interesting to see like how the Vancouver stats have sort of like almost been a parody of these comparisons.
Yes.
In some way, sometimes I feel like actually there's someone in the Vancouver stat that's just like on a different level of irony that we are all in, and we're just laughing at them going like this guy's so stupid and compares like interceptions in like hockey to like graphs eaten. Like, actually, he's just taking the piss on those comparisons. So the weirdest stats will be like a takeover or like basically like a piss take, if you want, of Backpack Matt firing back and going above the meta level, taking into the absolute obscure, like alien sightings or something.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Right? I don't know. I already think like those comparisons of like just uncontextualized stats with like good, big number good. I mean, that's not the interpretation that the let me be very clear. It's not the interpretation that the broadcast makes. It's the interpretation that is just very obviously going to be the one that someone looking at those numbers will subconsciously make or actively, right?
So you're talking like more NBA, like Reddit, like ranking of strip clubs in correlation to teams' performance.
Yes, something like that.
All right, I see what you're saying. Okay, we got there in the end.
Yep.
Yeah, like the strip club coefficient, the closer a team is to a strip club, the better that they perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw something about like No, I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, the Shrimp Club coefficient is an obscure one. I think we could probably not find something similar, but I think there will be, like Yiska saying, like a UFO sighting compared to number of wins gained, stuff like that. There'll be some fun ones.
All right, those are good.
Hawaii
I like
shirts,
those.
porn,
Those make
something
me
like
happy. Yeah. Those
What'd
are
you
good.
say? What's yours?
Oh, I didn't come
John?
up with one. I was too
I mean,
busy.
it is tough.
It's tough. This is not. That's not my cup of tea when it comes to making up those answers.
Let's not crowdsource, but let's think of a couple on the fly. What about like?
But chat, put yours as well. What are some of the most obscure stats you think we'll see in the 2021 Overwatch League season?
Number of reflect kills, sprays, and the correlation between total number of sprays sprayed and the winning team. The average payload speed, that'd be kind of interesting.
The mean time between spamming "I need healing" and the time that they receive their first heal.
The delta, yeah. There you go.
That's a pretty
the
good
Genji
one.
delta. That's what it's called.
Correlation of crouching over bodies and win rate.
True.
The highest vertically tracer bomb stick.
Oh, okay. Like a shot put. Just like how high does it go?
Yeah, like you're on
Okay.
Oasis, the not Gardens, but the one with the thing in the
City
middle of the
Center?
room, City Center. And you like jump off the side and like stick a Pharah and they go up in the air and they get hit like, 40 meters.
Yeah.
Who flanks the most and is the most away from the ball of his team, so therefore socially distancing?
How quickly?
The solo death coefficient, the one where the person who routinely dies the furthest away from their team.
How quickly tracers can demech a diva? That would be a good one. I'd like to hear more on anybody who loves that as a statistic as to support their players.
Most
That'd be a good one.
remechs.
Okay. Remech kills.
Those
When like the mech
those
gets
are
called
also
down.
good ones.
Yeah.
I would like
There
to
we go.
see like player substitutions, like most player substitutions, and how that.
I'd like to know number of failed roster submission attempts. That'd be a good one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That'd be a good
That
one.
is a good one.
The Tyrong Award.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
number of
very much
oops,
so.
the number of oops wrong map awards.
Yo, we need to remake
the Flame Award. Yeah, exactly. No, we didn't. Sorry, we missed it.
What are some other good ones? I can't think of any.
Interesting.
Yeah, there haven't been
There's
any
some good
like
ones,
other like
though.
weird.
We got some good
flubs.
ones in there for you.
You
Yeah.
got some gems in there. You can check the chat. There's some good ones in there too. So
Yeah. If you are watching the video, the chat's up on the left hand
Yes.
side. Pretty good ones. Let's go on to the next one, and that's going to be the Packing Award. Guess who named that one? And this is
Wouldn't know.
the team, or I guess, is this for like a coach or team, Yiska?
For a team.
The team
So
that did
whoever
the
makes
most,
the most.
with the least. We can also call it the Small Market Award, the Minnesota Twins Award, the Minnesota Wild Award, the Minnesota Timberwolves Award.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
ain't nobody buy Wolf tickets. Come on.
Minnesota sports. Not a lot of money. Not a lot of money there. Anyways.
I think this one might be boring because we're just going to say the same name.
Yeah, I feel like we
Should we
are.
say it all at the same time?
Okay.
1,
1, 2,
3.
3. London
Spitfire.
Spitfire.
I don't hate Boston either, to be fair.
Yeah, no.
I think they probably spent a little bit more than London, but yeah.
I didn't even think
they
of
should
London.
be all right.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think about London anymore.
She's coming for you.
I just, I just know Nuki's got it.
True.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
Wrong.
Thing is, like, I don't want to talk to about financials, but it's pretty obvious that they're one of the lowest spending organizations.
That's fair. Yeah.
They're
That's fair.
probably lower spanking organizations, obviously, if we hear that you literally don't want to pay buyouts. Those also won't achieve as much as London will.
I mean, if Valiant gets like a win, is
London,
that like
London's
the most value?
right choice. It's just London.
Yeah,
I think Paris is another good shout. A very similar a team that I suspect will probably surprise some people. Have already kind of surprised me, but I don't suspect they'll be placing above London. I will be very wrong if that's the case. Again, shout out to last year. I said sorry publicly. You know, I'm willing to say sorry again if you prove me wrong. So let's make it happen. I'm trying to cry on stream. I'm trying to make a YouTube apology video, you know, with my cat sitting on the floor.
There's a
Fake
couple
tears.
names that I think might be on Paris that you might be a little surprised at how much they're getting paid. But
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Could be.
I actually don't know. I'm
my
talking out of
info
pocket
is
there.
not. Yeah, I'll leave that as is.
He's juicing.
I don't
Clip it and
juice.
ship
Are
it.
you kidding me? I'm the resident
My
idiot
info.
here.
My info. Like sources confirmed.
I can just do the Halo thing
sources
and
have
just say
said.
my info and never like qualify it or anything, and then
Apparently.
back off and
Are
be
you-
like, that's not what I meant.
Are you paying those players?
Are you?
Is that why you know?
I'm yeah.
Sponsored by.
The Paris Eternal are accepting outside investors for their player salaries, is what I heard.
Nice.
That's what my sources say.
Nice. That's nice. Yeah, I don't think there's too many others, like, unless like Vancouver pops off like big time. Unlikely.
Yeah, that's a tough one to say.
Yeah, I think that's
Houston,
about
maybe the one thing that's like, again, I look at the roster, I'm like, I look at the coaches, I go, okay, maybe they can do something. Maybe they can bring this team together. I look at Jungkook. I've obviously
I'm not concerned about
them
them performing. I'm concerned about in that formula. I don't think they're like
value. The value's a
yeah,
little
the value is probably higher.
ropey.
That they paid more.
The Titans did the
than
least
London.
with the least, right?
I guess technically.
Is that like the? Do we call that the Packing Award is doing the least with the most, which we would have called the Huck Award had season 2 and 3 not happened. So is the Huck
things.
Award then the Titans
Top
doing
three
the
control.
least with the least?
Doing the least with the least. I don't think I'd go that far.
LA Valiant probably.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's Valiant. Again, like if Valiant wins a game, I think that they might be shoo-ins for this award because they probably don't deserve a win. Not for the players. Again, players, love you. Glad that you're here, but the management has put you in a position to not necessarily succeed. So
The Valiant actually aren't a team. They're just competitive Q6 stack.
Wow.
Next
one?
Valiant. All right, next one.
the Valiant's mean to the Valiant.
Let's lighten it up a little bit. The most likely to forget they're on camera award. Oh geez.
Okay.
Do you have
Bring
you
out
have a
the
good one?
theories. Go, Joe.
Mine's kind of a cop out,
Oh,
but
no.
I'm gonna say Lastro because if this kid's saying big dick sex on the server, I don't know what he could be doing in person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he's got some hats prepared. I don't know if he's got props that may or may not correlate to, you know, his comments in the past, but you know, I'd be a little concerned putting the camera on him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that is a cop out for sure.
Oh, okay. Enlighten me. Oh, great, juicer.
I'll let John go first.
Okay.
Oh, I've got Hydration and Jake together as one.
What do you expect them to do?
I want to keep the show clean.
Do you write fan fiction, bro?
I don't write it, I live it.
It's a lifestyle.
Look, I think I'm not sure about forgetting, But I think like the way I perceive Linkser is like we will see some body pillows in the background. Like, on the bed, bad
You
angle.
really gotta come
he
for the
moves his
man like
chair.
that? Come on.
I mean,
We don't have an
nothing wrong with
unapologetic weeb award. I'm sorry.
There's nothing wrong with having body pillows, okay?
Jesus
you just
Christ.
calm
Why?
down. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'll give that. That didn't quite get all the way caught by the.
That's
camera.
fine. Thank God.
Yeah.
Just one.
Oh no, we missed.
Just one. Jesus Christ.
Just one? Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, no, I also think a safe bet is probably someone with pets, because like pets always
Cats
do
and
some
stuff.
dumb stuff in the background, right? Like smack.
Oh,
like,
we
things
should have
down.
combined this award with the most, or the backpack mat. Like, who's the first person to have their pet poop on camera in the background?
Who would forget it? Why? How would you like? I
And
think
not clean
like
it up.
if you wanted to
Keep playing. Like you can't do it. Just plug in the nose.
Oh no, Mom, I can't pause online games.
Oh, God.
if you wanted to try hard that question, right? You would look like which teams are not going to be in an office. Like there, you feel observed anyway, right? So it's probably going to be a player that's at home. So
Philly?
then, I mean, Philly, like a lot of people will be in Europe, right?
Mm.
Could it be a caster? I'm not sure. Nah, they probably have the feeling of like
Always on camera.
Yeah, they're kind of used to it at this point. At least
Yeah.
at least the group this year.
I'm not looking forward to.
I guess
like,
I mean the
of
desk.
course,
I guess not necessarily casters.
it's also something
like-
to be said about like probably that being recorded with a delay, like the player cams. Maybe
you could. Yeah.
So if like it can't be the most spicy, right? Like it can't be. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. I'm just going to hammer out the reference, the Joachim Löw moment, which was like the German
Zach.
national coach
Gesundheit.
just having a bit of a moment with his nose on camera.
Oh, he's picking his
during
nose.
the World Cup.
Leave the man alone.
I'm a nose picker.
I'm not just picking, bro.
I'm an
not just picking.
unapologetic nose
He's
picker.
digging for
Yeah.
gold. Leave him alone. San Francisco.
Yeah.
How else are people supposed to breathe?
I mean,
He's dedicated to watching his team play. He can't go, to the bathroom. He's out there.
Oh, he's a digger and an eater?
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
Never mind.
All right. Well, the
I draw the
Twitlonger's
line
coming.
at
Apology
eating.
videos. Yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah.
I think there's a
Alright,
good chance that might happen.
Maybe.
I mean, you guys wanted, like, Joe wrote an article about wanting to see player camps. You must have
Did.
known that is a possibility.
Oh, 100%. I think there'll be a good list of bloopers by the time that the Overwatch League, ends this season. Let's put it that way. I think there'll be some funny bloopers with how much, at home, comfortable, like they're not necessarily in an office or like an official space. So I think that we'll get maybe some nose picks, some strange
Sparkle is a good one, right?
probably, yeah. Just in terms of just like face cam freakouts and screaming and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There we go. We're going to wrap up with some serious ones here.
Let's go serious.
Let's hop in. Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
How many do we have, Joe?
I have one. So if we're all saying the same one, then we might have an issue.
Nah, I have 3.
Wow, we really just.
I have a favorite, but I have 3.
All right.
You have 3.
Let's hear it.
What's your?
Let's
yeah,
hear it. Let's hear it.
yours.
Let's hear your first one.
I'm going with the one that's least likely, and
Okay.
then ramp up.
All right.
Guangbo, New York Excelsior.
Okay. Interesting.
I think like not understanding how nuts this kid is down to me not following contenders as much this season and consequently underrating that is also probably very true to what like a lot of the evaluation I had around Christmas with NYXL. Just way better than that. Like, and one of the reasons is that kid. I think he's pretty good. I think he's probably not going to be as nuts as the other two candidates I have, but he's very good.
All right.
Interesting.
Joe, give me one and we'll go back to Yiska.
Mine, I'm not going to cop out and say DPS because I think it's very, populous of you to assume that DPS pick will necessarily win the award. I think it's likely, but being a little contrarian,
That's
I'm going to say Mag. I think he's probably the biggest rookie coming into the season. I think the Justice will perform up to bringing him into the fold in terms of putting him on the ballot.
Okay.
I think he'll be. If I had to pick a second one, I have somebody else in mind, but we'll send it off to somebody else.
Yeah. So Mag is my second most likely pick.
All right, give me your third.
Or first.
I think we might have the same. If you have another one in mind. For me,
I don't.
The most likely rookie of the season is Choice One.
Okay.
Dude, not prepared. Actually, not prepared. Like, yeah, it's a weird season because I feel like a lot of people have, just where Overwatch is, content creators can't focus as much as on contenders. Hence why, like, you don't get to hear of like these like utterly unreal people as much, right? Heavy grinder, like he like this kid doesn't know any other games. That's also something I took away from the Sephi interview. It's just someone like I don't think he has other games installed on his computer. Just like incredible work ethic. So just like all over the place, like having like heavy like talent in that regard. I think
we've kind of seen it in the preseason with some of Charge's performances. Choi has been very standout, I think. And I feel like we say this every year, but this rookie class looks pretty cracked. A lot of names to kind of discover from contenders. It feels like we're getting to like the true rookie era of this game where like they're coming in, there's enough time or content spent made around the Overwatch League that it's tough to kind of balance both watching contenders and following that and following the league as well as other games and whatnot. So it feels like we're actually getting in like not fresh players, but like not necessarily that the community has a consensus that like, oh yeah, Haksal is like rookie of the year. It's like, well, he's been playing since the start of the game, so it doesn't really feel like rookies. Somebody like Choi Se-won feels like a rookie.
I also have mixed up two names because there's another name on that list.
Okay.
I talked about Brad, right?
Yeah.
Like I mixed up the other name that I had, and it's Pelican. Pelican is like Choice One. Pelican is 1A, 1B for me.
Sure.
Like,
I was wondering why you're talking about your interview with Sephi.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, Pelican, like that's the guy that has incredible work ethic. Doesn't have any other video game installed.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And also, I mean, if the implied scrimbucks are to be believed, Atlanta is also doing very well. You probably, for your rookie of the year, probably want to have a DPS just because it's more likely. People are more likely to pick them. It's also a bunch of the rookies that are really good just played like a couple of weeks at the end, which sort of like
recency bias
slows down. No, it slows, like you can't pick them for rookie, right? Like you can't pick an Iris for rookie or whatever, right?
Technically, they get kind of screwed out technically.
Yeah.
Technicality and whatnot.
Pelic. We got a couple of incredible rookies coming in this year.
Yeah,
I just can't imagine a world in which the Atlanta Reign, by adding Pelican and Kai, are that much better long term. I just can't.
Fair.
I want to be wrong though. I mean, like I'm open to being wrong. We saw what Decay did to Justice.
Yeah.
Still.
I mean, if you wanna see the rationale that Sephi had around that roster, it's basically like everyone that isn't already like a self-driven hard grinder with like incredible amounts of solo queue outside of practice is probably not on the Atlanta Reign anymore, right? By the way, don't confuse that with me saying like everyone that left didn't have a work ethic. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is now they have a roster that's just like heavy grinders. The mentality that Brad works his team around and also has communicated in the interview is that he wants a self-driven team, and that for a lot of it they just want to make sure that this team can work efficiently. Well, yes, of course, giving player guide stuff. I saw like I think it was Spilo having like a pretty dope video about why player-led teams can work. I'm not saying that is necessarily a player-led team. It's a more player-led team though than other rosters that will have like oversight and like, you know, like the coach's ideas enforced.
Sure. Agreed.
And that's why like I think that makes the Reign scary this year. I'm not sure if it's an S tier team. Like the Scrimbucks aren't enough for me to put them there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like I think we'll see. And also like that news, how that like all odds on the table. I haven't actually started doing that much research for the Scrim Up Stock Exchange. So when that Mickey tier list hit and the consecutive Crimzo comments, I was actually quite surprised myself. And now I've started slowly like reaching out to people in order to get a temperature, right?
See, my problem, I guess my slight problem with like that whole thread of comments in general was that like it was based off of like just right now. Like if you were to snapshot last week's scrims, that's what I took away from that.
Technically speaking, that's what power rankings are. That's the problem. Like we have a semantic issue in Overwatch where I don't actually know what Mickey wanted to do. Like if he took power rankings seriously, meaning how strong are teams at that time when they hit the season, then that makes perfect definitional sense. The way we use power rankings though is like end season rankings. And that, strictly speaking, we're actually misusing that name, right? We should call them end of season rankings. Most of them
seasonal power rankings. I don't know. Again, I still think like everybody should be driving home any kind of criteria and really explaining what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Joe's getting hammered on the podcast again.
I know.
Home improvement. What can I say? Hell of a track.
All right, let's go on to the second to the last one that we have, and that is pretty easy to see it was coming. Most Valuable Player Award for 2021. Joe, who you got?
Most valuable player in my mind is the player who got robbed last season. Is the player who I think I had a warm fuzzy feeling in my heart that, you know, the community and I and a lot of other people kind of saw eye to eye when it came to this. And I think this is easily, I'm going to say Violet as the most valuable player.
Damn. Like I thought you were going to say someone completely different.
I do too.
And then because you made it seem like you didn't nominate Violet as your season MVP, for instance, right?
No, not my season MVP last season, but after his finals performance, he's definitely kind of changed my opinion in a pretty dramatic way. And I think the community's in my basement just hammering it at home. I think he got snubbed last season in the playoffs. I think he's been an absolute workhorse, and I think that's only going to continue. And I think it's going to be a very bright year for him when it comes to, you know, Shock's potential three-peat. It's
I mean,
it's tough.
The thing is with Violet, I think here's one thing where I also take into account how people vote, which is, even if Violet won't be very clearly the best player or the most valuable player over the season, if the Shock keep pushing the narrative, just how otherworldly and just like I feel like the communication from Shock players, and I'm not saying it's a PR move. They genuinely believe this guy is out of this world. So as that narrative carries into the season, like this guy just needs to keep his level up, which is already otherworldly, of course, and he will get it. Like that campaign has been set up for him now. Like he deserves recognition for like just being otherworldly to that degree. Like maybe it's also a little bit of an issue in narrative storytelling that the community made that we didn't realize this sooner and didn't give him his dues at the time.
Oh.
They will be like, unfortunately, like even though it shouldn't be the case, you will have people make calls on people being snubbed the year before.
Agreed.
And I feel like because of that weight will carry over. And yes, like it's almost like in many ways, I feel like this award to me felt like, okay, who's going to be MVP if we don't say Violent? Because that's the obvious answer, right? Mm-hmm. So do you have like a second name? Or do you guys have second names?
I mean, I can probably find one in terms of overall.
Can I just be a little contrarian for a second?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think we're going to finally see a tank MVP 2021.
I hope so. That'd be great.
We got a support MVP season 1.
Mm-hmm.
We got, what do we have in season 2?
Season 2 regular season MVP.
I can't remember.
I can't tell if this is a bit.
Zarya.
Yeah. Alien Zarya. Doomfist.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay. I was behind a season. That's what I was getting. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Duh. Okay. Sorry.
That happens.
That was not intentionally a bit, nor did I mean to dig that up at all. I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, no, like sometimes.
So I don't know. Like I would personally love to see like Choi.
Ooh.
I just love to see
my own heart.
I don't know, dude. I talk to people, and there's quite a couple of people that think Choi is a little bit overhyped.
So how do you feel about Krong then?
Krong needs to do it on more heroes. Probably doesn't have a chance to win the Overwatch League or like get close, win several tournaments, which is usually part of the like if we're talking about tanks, I think Mag probably will be one in the discussion.
It's kind of weird when they're
really
potentially when they're potentially also winning
in a good team,
Rookie of the Year, right? So it's kind of weird overlapping those because
yeah. But if your Rookie of the Year is also or if your MVP is a rookie, it feels like you have to give Rookie of the Year to the MVP. Yeah, it feels like one of those things that like
I just think they do the opposite, and I think that they just like. If the MVP is a rookie, they give him the Rookie of the Year award, and they find a different MVP.
Yes, exactly. And I
don't like that.
That irks me. But yes, I think that's.
I kind of get it, like. But I don't like it.
Yeah,
it just removes so much of like not the narrative building, but like it strips like having such a strong rookie performance to be able to say like this is the most valuable player in their rookie year. Like that says a lot. That's not something that should be thrown around too frequently, and I doubt that that'll be something that we get too frequently. So when it does happen, we should get it.
Do you have a dark horse pick?
I actually have mine. I'm right on this one.
Shoot.
It's Kareev.
I hate that.
3 seats down.
He has
3.
Okay, come on. He's looked good.
Yeah, no, he was very good in the.
Very good.
And
Charges is making me eat some crow when it comes to that pick because he is fantastic, and I'm very excited to see him continue.
I agree.
I
dark horse though.
Yiska, did you pick yours at all? Did you give us your pick at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Violet, and then the dark horse picks.
Okay.
You ready? Joe, I have to say it. Glister.
Oh, okay. Is that
What
really
did you think I
dark?
was going to say? That? Oh no! Like I don't think that will be a really hard season this year.
Yeah.
To get it.
But if Seoul
Sure.
gets out first in Asia, just seasonally, like,
yeah,
is there more that boy needs to be, to do before?
Yeah,
he starts
but I don't want he shouldn't get it just like because he didn't get it, even though he should.
No. It has nothing to do. Right. It has nothing to do with him not getting it. But like, if they're leading Asia by the end of the year and it's not off of profit, I'd be a little surprised.
I don't know. Like people keep saying that, but I don't think that is likely. Like I had a little chat with Avril about this, and like I don't agree. Like this team is still like not that fundamentally different than the team that would have not made season playoffs had it been like a season like this one.
Again, it was more of in like the hypothetical. If they do, who's likely to step up and actually be the big one? I guarantee it would be profit, right? Glister, I mean, is that really a dark horse? Does that feel like
because he has to compete against a couple of dudes on that team, right?
Yeah, that's what makes it feel unlikely.
I have one that I'm not my full heart's not in it, but I just want to piss people off.
Okay.
So, let's think about the things like, okay, so the MVP needs to be someone that probably is from a very, very good team.
Very good team, plays a lot of different heroes if possible. I think that was something that was rewarded in the past. Extra
credit,
but yeah.
And also sort of can bring the clout and the mystique around it. Like the I don't know, like the communities and journalists and experts don't necessarily only vote on the actual performance. You need a story around it in order to get people to the
I mean, I said that. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
People are saying Sparkle. I'm interested. I haven't seen it. Decay is actually a really good pick that I haven't thought about. Probably not even a dark horse.
Decay just feels like a cop out. Like
Decay is an obvious one, actually.
Yeah, it feels like
you're basic.
Okay.
Put some pineapple on that pizza. All right, yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Kefster.
I'm okay with a multitude of LA Gladiators picks on this one, honestly.
Yeah, same. I think with how much he was like bigged up from people like actually following the scene in European contenders, like I would suspect that he has, like, from just what they've said, I would suspect that he has it within him to be able to do that. I haven't seen that level yet. When you compare him to somebody like a Decay, if Decay is like an easy pick, I don't see the same level of dominance. That's not to say that it just hasn't been shown, or the Gladiators had issues last year or whatever. I don't hate it, but I need to see a big step up if that's actually going to be a reality.
I'm really looking forward to what's the community reaction when the camera switches on the first time on Kefster and people realize he's just a brain in a jar playing Overwatch, formerly on 40 FPS, now on performative. No,
I think he's a great player, but
I think if Gladiators does well, I don't think Berthering has it in him to be consistently good enough.
Sure.
I think Muse is overhyped in that regard. Don't think Space has it. Shu is not a bad one, I would say.
That's one that's tough competition. Again, against Violet.
Yeah. And we're not giving it to a main support because we're not there yet as a society.
Unfortunately. Yeah, weird. That's a good way to put it. We really aren't ready for that one. We're not ready for that conversation.
There's also too many players playing in shock with a rotation where, like, yes, Glister is like, that's why for me is like a dark horse pick, because there's so many players that he could be switched out for. I think there's something to be said about the Shanghai boys, but that's the same issue with like Erster, Fladder, Lip, DM. Like, there's a lot of rotation going around. I think like just because like Kevster is expected to play a lot,
yeah,
that's something. Pelican is another one that probably should be like a dark horse name.
I purposely avoided Rookie of the Year candidates.
Right.
In my MVP, because I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah, I guess in my perfect world, I'd want it to be Mag. Mag or Decay. Yeah, I feel like Shock's too hard to pick. There's a lot of like chaos there. I guess in like order, I'd want, or is it I want, or rather I think will happen. Yeah, I think it'll probably be Violet in first for me, second Decay, third Mag. That would be my vote in terms of like season MVP.
Also, like, seriously, I hate the situations with Philly. I feel like if they were in a better situation, then I would be able to name a lot more. And I don't know what's going on there, right? Like, we just like to me the Fanny Astro clip sounded like they're only playing Korea in ranked and not the scrimming here, right? I don't know. Like, this team has so much potential. Like, if you thought like Paris had a couple of MVP candidates last season, that was built by the same guy pretty much. So I would have loved to see like, or I hope it still works. I'm not sure. What Philly can cook up, and like then a guy like Shockwave, Carpe is always one, of course. Alarm is one. Never forgetting. Don't think Mano can get it. Don't think Poco can get it. Main supports don't.
Yeah, if Philly can go through the whole season, like if they have any kind of like roster issues or visa issues, whatever it might be, and Alarm can do the same thing he did last year, then yeah. If they're successful, if they can fight through adversity, if Alarm still like is flexing all over the place, playing all kinds of different things at like an absurdly high level, then yeah, it's you can't argue that. Like, you got to give him the nod. But that's tough.
We got to wrap up, and we have one more topic, and that is our choice for most likely to win the Overwatch League. And I think we all offline agreed that the most likely was probably still the San Francisco Shock. So we decided to remove that from the equation entirely and say, if not the Shock, then who? I think, Joe, you went first last time. So, Yiska, who is your most likely to win the 2021 Overwatch League?
That isn't the Shock, yeah.
That isn't the Shock.
I gotta give you a boring run. I'm gonna say Shanghai Dragons.
I already had it selected on the spreadsheet.
How basic of you. For shame.
Yeah, very basic.
Couldn't be me.
I mean, they're summoning up the spirits of Mighty AOD. I'm not sure in which direction it's going. Yep. I could totally see this team being worse than last season as well. Mm-hmm. I think the way the Asia region is shaping up, we are getting a better idea how the power distribution works out. Sure. So it's likely that Shanghai will reliably get to play like the Hawaiian teams. But yeah, I feel like Dragons.
I don't know if I want to say they AOD. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they made it out of their group last time I checked.
Yeah, I mean, you know, second time is the charm or something. Like I think the interesting part for this team is that they actually get a measuring stick multiple times a season to check themselves against the NA teams to see where their real level is, because like being in a horse race, being the fastest horse in that horse race doesn't really help you that much to improving and like winning the other bigger horse race as well, right?
Agreed.
So it's hard. Like I think that they will be helped by the new schedule for sure. It also really depends on what kind of a playoff format we will go, and if we will have offline performances. And then there's also something to be said, like it's likely to be like everyone seems to be hosting stuff in
Asia.
in China at the moment. So we'll see. Like a lot of that has to be taken into account. But yeah, my boring pick here, and I have two other ones. But my boring pick is Dragons.
He just picks half the league every time we ask him a question.
What's the spicy pick? What's the,
hold on.
got
I want to go to spicy. Let's go to our boring real picks for a second. Joe?
I just have one. I have one, and I think it's. I think so. Here's my criteria. Here's the boring part of my answer. Okay, how I came to this conclusion. I said who's actually going to make the playoffs, and who has the ability to peak well. And I think throughout most of this conversation, most of the Crouchies, we've hit on this team a number of times when it came to the Pinecone Award, maybe even in conversations for regular season MVP. And if I'm a betting man and you're asking me to not vote on the shock, but a team that can dark horse get in there and make a deep run, I'm going to say that the Washington Justice will be the 2021 Overwatch League World Champions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
That's not my spicy pick.
I think that makes logical sense.
Yeah, I think Gladiators is in the same niche as a.
I don't think
sort
they're
of
in the
team.
same niche, but they're actually my dark horse pick.
Yep.
The LA Gladiators. I think they're the one team that I don't know. I feel like on any week could beat anybody. They're just kind of dangerous. They're a team that'll catch you napping. I think. I don't know if they would consistently win against the best teams, but I think that they could win it out at the end of the season.
Exactly. That's not the question. It's who's going to win. We've seen constantly the Overwatch League. It's not the marathon we expected it to be. It's just qualifying for that race and who can sprint the fastest at the end. Who can actually pop off.
I mean, there's two other teams that then come to mind that could do something like this, right?
Okay. Illuminate me.
I think Dallas probably doesn't have it, but theoretically they do.
Theoretically, they have some punching power.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna go Philly.
Oh, he said it.
As soon as whatever problems they are going to have resolved. Like people think they somehow got worse. No, they didn't. They got better this season.
That blows my mind.
They got better this season. Yes, losing Settle, whatever. Like, might not be convinced of Mano, whatever it is. Like, I don't care. Like, that coaching situation is a vast improvement. With exciting, like not rookies, but new hires there. Sure. They also have like a nutty nuts backline still.
Yeah.
They have the personnel to back that up on the DPS line as well. And we can talk about the tank lines a bit, but keep in mind, like, this is the coach that also made Paris look like they looked. And not to offend anyone, but I think Mano has better hardware than Ben Best had to be like an outstanding tank performer with the right software.
I mean, when you look historically, I mean, who's played in the most, like the most difficult region for the longest?
And I will look like an idiot at the start of the season, but it's also the Philly way to peak at the end, right?
A la 2018.
Yeah.
It's about the sprint. It's not the marathon.
Yeah.
It's getting there. And Philly could probably get there. Again, they're playing through Asia, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but it's about getting there and peaking. You look at Carpe, you look at Shockwave, Rascal, again, just blanketing the entire, roster of Overwatch. There's reasons to believe that Philly could get it done.
I got to look at their schedule. I hope they don't have like really hard games in the first couple of weeks, and like it's just got to be like it's hard. Like 16 games is not a lot of time to like mess around. So we'll see. But do we know who's going to get invited to? Yeah. We know the playoff format, right? Like the season playoffs, who's going to be invited and whatnot. It wasn't that forgiving this time. So you gotta keep up. You gotta do your best. Like that's put yourself into the position to have options. Basically, it's like I tell the kids at school. You don't have to know what you want to do with life. You just gotta be good enough at school to keep your options open. And that's Philly's first half.
Agree.
Interesting. I like that. All right, well, there you have it. The 2021 Crouchies are in the books. I hope you all enjoyed it, by the way. Ton of fun to just meme out, hand out some awards, hand out some hardware. It was a good show. It was a fun show. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, though, first, thank you to our newest patron, Hotel Bravo 11. And big thank you to our patron producers, Refined Bean, Ferdino, Battle Crab Lotion, Rex Zane, Sir Girthalot, Pork Chop Sammy, Kasha67, Shard Nathan, Your Misery, Fabled Steven, Roger B, Chris R34444, Bronzebot, Boohow, and Hotel Bravo 11. If you like the show, please consider going to patreon.com/tacticalcrouch to pledge some support. We've got power rankings the next 2 weeks, and then we're into the Overwatch League season. We're right around the corner, y'all. Also, big thank you to our resubs, Ferdino, Adriac, and P. Scott. Welcome back for 12 months. That's 1 year. Thank you, P. Scott. Congrats on the milestone. And Pin to Paper, thanks so much for your subs and your resubs. We really appreciate it. You can subscribe right here, twitch.tv/Kickedtripod. All right. That's it for us, though. Let's go ahead. Shoutouts for the week. Where can people find you? Joe, let's go with you first, man.
You can find me on all the socials at Volmel. That's VOLAMEL. I got to, thanks to Mineral from the Boston Uprising to give me a pretty candid interview, and I got to tell the story of their rebuild through his eyes and his experience with the team. Very insightful if you're excited for Boston's 2021 bid. So go check that out on GG Recon. Got some Valorant stuff in the works. And yeah, just generally excited to get into get to April and get to watching some Overwatch finally. And yeah, pretty much it.
Cool. Yiska, what about you? Shoutouts for the week. Where can people find you?
So currently it's like preparation season pretty much, right? Like trying to get ready for a couple of big things happening. Also, of course, the season start, whatnot. I'm active in Overwatch still. Actually have a pretty dope thing lined up that you guys probably won't get to see for a while, but it's pretty sweet. Otherwise, Scrimbuck Stock Exchange, I hope next week. Of course, we're also going to have the power rankings coming up soon. I will probably have that on the day that we do ours, if I do them in writing. But yeah, like I'll take this weekend and dive into the Scrimbucks and see whatever is in the stars.
Sweet. All right. Well, as for me, you can find me everywhere at Kickedtripod, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at youtube.com/Kickedtripodyt. Pretty busy, so I'm not doing a whole lot of outside content. Rating Tuesdays and Sundays, and I stream there if you want to just hang out and talk about the show and chat and whatever else. Otherwise, yeah. This year's crazy, man. It's crazy. Anyways, chat, thanks for hanging out with us today. Hope you had a great one. We will see you next time for Tactical Crouch Power Rankings next week. Maybe see you Friday for Anime Night.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Joe and I were talking about maybe playing some games this afternoon, so maybe we'll see you for those. We'll let you know. Either way,
stay tuned. Look in the Discord.
Yep, look in the Discord. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.